everyone. It is Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. here Eastern Time, and my name is Tonya Wells, Higher Way Coach, here to inspire you to choose a higher way. And today we are going to talk about goals and intentions. Goals and intentions. I want to give you 5 keys that I think will help you move toward a goal. Of course, this isn't an extensive training or workshop or anything, but I thought if I could give you 5 things that I'm learning, I just kind of collected 5 today as I was writing this morning. And I thought, what would be something that the audience might like to know? Maybe you've never set out goals before. Maybe you have, but you find yourself getting frustrated or discouraged in pursuing those goals. And maybe, I don't know where you're at, but I really believe that if you are a goal setter, I believe that there's something here for you. If you've not been intentional on setting goals, I believe there's something here for you. This is the beautiful thing about coming up higher, is that we all can come up higher wherever we're at, in our walk. So let's get started. And if anyone is following live and wants to let me know you're here, comment below. Let me know you're here, and we'll see about. I'm still new to knowing about the interaction, so we'll go from there. But if you have a question or a comment about the content, let me know. And here we go. So, number one, first key that I want to talk about is to state your goal in the positive. State your goal in the positive. So you want to, when you think about your goal, you want to direct your brain, you want to direct your life where you're heading. A lot of times we think about some goals because we're frustrated with where we are and we want to stop. We want to stop a certain behavior, or we want to stop going in a certain direction. And so we'll say, okay, well, I'm not going to overeat anymore. Do you hear the double negative? I'm not going to overeat. Well, the brain doesn't know what to do with that. All it hears and all it picks up on is overeat. So we want to look at going toward, where are you heading? What picture do you want to see? And I just took that one as an example for health or eating. What do you want to see? Do you want to see yourself drinking more water and active? Do you want to, whatever it may be, you want to picture where you are going, and that's what you want to lay out. The brain is pretty amazing when it comes to recognizing pictures. It recognizes pictures more than words. So when you begin to picture yourself of where you want to go, and also I would add, and we're going to hit on this just a little bit later in it as well, but anytime you have accomplished something similar to that, pull on that. Has there been a time where you have? I just used the health thing. It could be health, it could be financial, it could be work related, whatever it may be. But is there a time that you did do the thing that you're wanting to move toward? Pull on that. Say, you know what, I've done this before, I can do it again. And maybe you say, well, Tonya, I've never done this before, but this is something I want to do. This is something I want to work toward. Well, then find somebody who has. Find somebody who has and look and see what they've done. And you won't be able to model it exactly, but you can start getting some ideas and maybe even some beliefs that yes, you can move forward and change too. So the first one is setting the goal in the positive. You want to set your goal in the direction that you want to go. Okay, number two, once you set your goal, once you start saying, okay, I'm clear, I'm wanting to head this way, today is the day I am changing the way that I eat, and you go to the grocery store and you buy all these things that are healthier, and you say, okay, today is the day, and you start taking steps toward that. Number two is do not be surprised when obstacles appear. Obstacles that want to take you off course, right? That wants to take you, and then those obstacles can be external, meaning they can be things that show up So you set you're setting your health goals, and then you forget that it's Uncle Fred's birthday and everybody's having a big cookout and all this kind of stuff, and you have not prepared for that. So that's an external. What would be an internal? Internal would be those obstacles that once you start making some strides, once you start heading toward a goal that you've not pursued or have been in before, then you have this thing that's called, some people call it a set point, some people call it a comfort zone. You kind of bump up against this imaginary line that says, whoa, wait a minute, we've not done this before, so I don't know if you should do this. And so internally, we begin to find this resistance, or the start hearing and having reasons as to, well, I don't think I'll follow through today. Maybe I'm making too big of a jump. And so we have these obstacles, both internal and external. So number two is, do not be surprised by them. Don't think you have failed because they show up, or maybe even that you've given in to them. No, 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 no. No, it will happen, okay? It will happen. So once you recognize and know that they're going to happen, then you gives you an opportunity to prepare how you want to work through that. And it won't catch you off guard. And it will, initially it will catch you off guard because your old patterns are so set, but we can change. And once you start realizing that that onset of the obstacles is something that will show up, that you'll learn how to override and move around and step over and go over that way. Okay, so number three, when it comes to goals and setting forth and you start taking steps toward that, you want to listen to that internal dialogue. You want to listen to your words that you speak. And I am pausing for a moment because I really want you to get this. So you get clear on something you're moving forward with, and these obstacles start to appear. What is your language? What are the things that you're thinking about? What's coming up for you? It's very important, guys, to pay attention to this, because if you're moving forward and then your internal dialogue is all negative and it's complaining, or saying, you know what, daggone it, I'm never going to get this right, and you'll find yourself being pulled back and forth, and it'll be a very frustrating journey towards your goal. So when you hear this, when you begin to hear what's going on internally, when you begin to hear your own mouth say things that are contrary to where you're going, it's, first of all, become aware of it so you can let it go. Okay, so you can let it go, because if not, you're going to find that struggle back and forth. And a lot of times, I think all of us can attest to this, that we've set out to have goals and we've just gotten so frustrated we just stopped. So when that internal dialogue begins to be contrary to where you're heading, it's not okay, well, wait a minute, I just got to say the right things, I got to say the right things and do the right things, and you get all worked up about it. No, recognize it and say, you know what, these words and these thoughts, are they really true? Are they really true? And do they have to be true for where I'm heading? And I would say 99.9, they are not true, and they will not be true for where you are heading. So we learn to say, you know what, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to create a new way to think about this, a new way to pursue. Number four, be intentional. Be intentional. So what I mean by that is, when we have your goal, you have your goal and you've set that vision out before you, and you're looking and you're moving. Intentionality then is taking those steps toward it. You can sit, and guys, I have been guilty of this. I have been so guilty of this. I can get clear on a goal, and then I love dreaming about the goal. I love imagining about the goal. I love getting the clarity around the pictures on the goal. But where the rubber meets the road is when you begin to take steps toward that goal. You begin by faith, start taking steps and action. And this is where intentionality comes in, because your goal is not going to just pick you up and pull you off your couch, okay? It's not going to pull you away from the TV. Your goal is going to require you to start by faith taking action steps toward it. Now, are those steps going to all be in one, in one alignment to where you hit every one perfectly? Absolutely not. You're going to take steps and you're going to see that this doesn't work. Oh, wait a minute, this works, this doesn't work. I cannot tell you how many different things that I've tried to bring me to this place today. And who knows then what it will be in 3 months or 6 months from here. Okay. So, intentionality, that's the action and the movement. And that is taking the next step of what you know to do. Then, when you take that next step, the next step begins to unfold. And so it's important too in this, while we hold that vision toward the goal, it's important to also see yourself taking these steps. Because what do you think is going to pop up? What do you think is going to pop up internally? Oh my goodness, your brain's going to tell you, we've not done this before. We don't know how to do this. And, this is where, and this is where I get really uh, not really sure what to say or what not to say here, because I'm still trying to understand who my audience is. But I know for me, from a spiritual perspective, that when I start hitting those internal blocks, and I think, okay, I haven't been here before. And I think, okay, well, Tonya, you can learn how to live life all over again, and so it's a time that I yield. It's a time that I personally yield, and knowing that there is more. There is so much more that I can learn and live from. And so when these steps of moving forward, if I don't get it right, if it doesn't take me there, then I can stop and yield and say, okay, what is the next easiest step? Or what is the next step that I need to do here? And then I listen, and then I yield, and then I move. It is by faith, guys. It is by faith. And then number 5, become aware, not beware. I have to read my writing. Become aware of what you automatically do in other areas that might resemble the goal that you're moving toward. And then you can apply it. You can apply it here in this goal. For example, I was sharing with Steve the other day. I said there are sometimes I get so clear on a goal or a project that I see it, I can see how to walk it out, I can see how it's going to play out. For example, we had when his daughter and my daughter both graduated from high school, I could see a graduation party. So I saw the party, I saw the people, I saw how I wanted to set things up. And it was a goal that I could just easily take steps toward. Now, wish everything, and let me go back. So when I did that, then everything unfolded the way that I had envisioned it, but I also took steps, right? I took steps in action. I called, I set up, I made plans for the food arrangements and things like that, and was even able to throw in some surprises that I wasn't even thinking about. So I like it when it's that simple. I like it when it's that easy. Sometimes it's not always that easy, but when you know that you can see something and you know that you've done it before, maybe in another area of your life, you can do it again. And you think, okay, now how did I do that? How did I do that? Well, let's see. I had an idea. I saw what could be, and then I got out a piece of paper and I just started writing down, you know, what needed to be given attention to, and things like that. So if you've done it before in one area, see about applying it in another. Okay. Now, and you say, okay, well, Tonya, this particular goal that I'm pursuing, I really cannot seem to make a connection with myself about doing something similar. This is what I hit on just a little bit earlier. Then find somebody else who has. Find somebody else who has modeled it before, or is maybe they do it very well. That's definitely somebody you want to find. Now, they are not you and you are not them, but interviewing them and just kind of asking them, I see that you're doing really well with being able to save money and pay off debt. Can you tell me a little bit about how you do that? Can you tell me what do you think? Like, so when you get money coming in unexpectedly, what do you do with that? And you just begin to interview and you begin to pull, and so you can begin to look at patterns that can support you as you're setting out new steps towards your goal. So that's five. So let me hit on those again real quick. We have, you want to state your goal in the positive. You want to where are you heading? Not so much where you want to stop, what you want to stop or what you want to turn away from, but you want to picture that goal of where you are heading and create that future you're wanting to walk in. Second of all, do not be surprised if obstacles appear when you start taking steps. You're going to be excited. You're going to start taking steps. You've made a decision, but there are external and internal obstacles that may appear. And when they do, be ready and learn how to move around, over, through whatever you need to do to keep moving towards your goal. Number three, listen to your heart and listen to your internal dialogue. When I say your heart, what I mean in this context is listen to those words that you're telling yourself as you're moving towards your goal and bumping up against these obstacles. Also listen to the words you say. Your words have a way of painting a lot of pictures. So listen to the metaphors that come out of your mouth. Listen to the words that you say and see if it's contrary to where you are heading. Okay? And definitely, I didn't throw this in before, but I'm going to throw it in now. Beating yourself up or condemning yourself or talking about how you're not going to get it, guys, that will not support you in moving forward. Okay, so just let that conversation go. That never solved or helped anyone in the way of being able to move forward in a healthy way. Okay. Uh, Number four is being intentional about your steps. It's one thing to dream your vision, it's one thing to hold your goal out there, and it's one thing to be excited about it, but it will require you to take steps toward that. So by faith, you're taking that next step. You're taking another step, and then more unfolds, and you're taking another step. And then number five, be aware of what you already do automatically to see if you can incorporate that in the way that you're moving toward your goal. And if not you, then somebody else has done it very well. Find out, interview them, read about them, whatever it may be, and begin to incorporate some patterns and some strategies that you can do to move toward your goal. So, wow. Well, I hope this was helpful to you today. It was good for me to hear it again because if we are fully engaged in our life, we will have things that we want to move toward. We will have areas of growth that we want to live in. It's an exciting life when we can live fully alive and awake in our everyday life, depending no matter what we're doing. Especially with this quarantine and everything that's going on, guys, there's always room to come up higher. So, anyways, thanks for listening. This is Tonya Wells, Higher Way Coach, inspiring you to choose a higher way. Bye, guys.